Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be showing off the brand new Infernoble Knight support. So they actually have 5 new cards we're about to see in the gameplay. And first off, to answer a question, is it any good? And I would say yes, it's actually a pretty good deck. You have consistently like anywhere from 4 to 6 negate/disruptions. You can pop a card, you can basically dodge stuff, you can force your opponent to basically target one specific card that you have with a card, which we'll talk about. It's kind of an old school Yu-Gi-Oh card, and I love it when decks get stuff that is like an old school card that makes it like actually pretty viable. So some of the newer cards basically just special summon themselves, or you can make something convert it into a tuner. This is a brand new Synchro. This is Angelica. So when this card gets summoned, you get to add one card that mentions Infernal Knight Emperor Charles. Now, the important combo with this is that you're going to be actually going into some stepping stones, like rolling over here, and then you can go ahead and special summon the card that is equipped with the field spell over here. So this is the field spell. It's basically play 1200, and then you can just search out one Noble Arms card, and the other Noble Arms card can search out other things. So it's like insane consistency for the deck, and that's a once per turn effect, so you can keep on searching stuff. It also has a small boost of 500. It doesn't really matter too much. I mean, yeah, sure, it helps out. But what you want to do is you want to make Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. Then what you're going to do is get the Link monster, Charlemagne, which is another brand new card. So this brand new Link monster, it's 1 level 9 Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles equipped with an equip card, which is not that difficult to do because to basically make it, you get it for free anyways. So you make this card, and then you get to equip that card to it. So you pretty much get this card out for free, and then he's going to have a massive stat boost, so he gets to increase the attack of himself by 500, and then on top of that, so you have basically 500 here, another 500 here, and then this gains the effect of Charles, which lets you basically, when you equip something, get to pop something. So it can act as a disruption, because you can equip things during your opponent's turn depending on your situation, but you can do that. And then on top of that, whenever an equip card becomes equipped to a monster on the field, even during the damage step, which is actually pretty important because there might be some things that work. There's probably a few Yu-Gi-Oh cards that work with it, but you get to destroy a card in the field, and then during the end phase, you get to equip one equip spell from your hand or graveyard to this card. Usually it's from the graveyard, and then you get to equip a fire warrior monster from your deck to this card as an equip spell, and it also gives it 500 attack. So you can start equipping stuff and then start synchroing and getting your monsters to count as tuners as well. That's part of one of the newer cards effects, because we're basically here to make it be synchro. So a lot of the cards will just go and you get to equip one of them from the deck. Basically it swaps itself as another equip. You can go into other things. So now he's going to go and special summon the Emperor Charles. We're going to equip one. So God Gearfried gets that bonus effect, and then you're seeing the Baron de Fleur. This card needs no introduction. It's another negation. We have this card as well. And keep in mind, if you happen to have a card, you get a huge bonus with this effect, being able to now have that effect to equip a card. And remember how I was talking about, there's a really cool old school Yu-Gi-Oh card in the deck, Metal Silver Armor. It's like an old school card. So one thing that's good, obviously when you're using a soul, you just start sending things to graveyard. Now Metal Silver Armor makes this deck really good. If you're able to get out the Synchro and equip the Metal Silver Armor, it's actually okay as well. But this card actually makes the deck a lot better. You can even turn 1 use this, and what it does is make so while you control the equip monster, your opponent can't target monsters on the field in either graveyard or that are banished except for the equipped monster. So you can like literally, if you really need to in a situation where you're trying to go for like another combo play after you already get your Soul's effect, slap on Metal Silver Armor and then go for your combo if you're really worried maybe your opponent happens to have something. But in this instance over here, we have Angelica. You see all of the back where everybody's got the equips. We got a negate here. If you can force them to target Angelica, which is I think what they wanted their deck originally to do, when it's targeted for an attack or when a card is activated that targets Angelica, what you can do is a quick effect. You get to send 1 fire warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you do, banish this card until the end phase. So you basically dodge something, and then you just special summon 1 rolling monster from your deck or extra deck. So basically you dodge something. So it's kind of like a disruption, kind of a negation as well. But if you're able to equip something immediately, remember you have that pop with this. Baron has a negate, God Giver has a negate. Yeah, anywhere from like 4 to maybe 5 negates relatively consistently. 6, I mean, if you draw Call by the Grave, sure. That's another negation, right? At this point, it doesn't matter because you just literally negate every single effect that the opponent is going to be going for first. So Sin Yan, I've been following this guy for a while, and he's doing pretty good with the deck. And I'm going to show you guys just like an intro play. This duel doesn't really matter too much, so it's going to be fast. I'll show the deck taking some dubs. I'll show it taking some L's, just so you guys get a variety. But I just want to start off showing this little combo here because the replay doesn't matter on this one. The most important thing is if you really want to opening up, he ends up getting Ashed over here, so he can't go to another one. But he goes for God Gearfried, and then immediately goes into Soul, and then you can equip Metal Silver Armor. The play basically ends off with this guy just GGing here, but he goes for 1, and now in this instance over here, Gearfried has this equipped, and then he goes and makes Noble Arms, and it's just like, I don't want none of it, okay? So, basically, GG's out of that one, but the important play was earlier on, you can, if you have it in your hand, the Metal Silver Armor, use it earlier on. But like I said, I'll show the deck takes, and I'll also show, you know, this guy's got multiple hand traps playing the Dragon Maids player over here. He's got Ghost Bell and Ash Blossom, so he basically has to play through 2 hand traps. You're going to see him going to Rod, Fire Flint, Lady. This card is kind of old. Basically, it's just a free special summon. A lot of the newer cards, like they special summon or let you convert it to like a tuner, is what it does. We'll go over the deck profile in a second here. I'll show you guys all of the newer cards. But if you're wondering, is this going to be a deck that you actually have to pay attention to and keep it on the radar? I would say yes, for sure. Any Soul variant decks, they can get quite nasty. But in this instance, they just went ahead and decided to go for a Sacred Noble Knight King Custodian over here. So this card has the effect where you can detach any number of cards, materials from this card, target that many cards your opponent controls, and then bounce them back. It's actually really good. Then you just summon a Noble Knight exceeds a monster from your extra deck. So watch what happens, because he didn't get rid of this card. This has 35, but he didn't want a soul that actually has 5. Sometimes you think they can link off with it. That was, I guess, the priority for the person playing the Dragon Maid variant deck over here. So he's going to go ahead and special summon the Parlor, but it doesn't really matter too much. Dragon Maid's probably not the most meta of decks, I understand, but I want to show you guys, you got to get rid of this card because for a defensive play. And then on top of that, remember, he's going to be bringing out another Exceeds monster and start equipping some stuff. And bam, he's got double equips, and then he's going to go right into this card, going into another card. And once again, you got to get rid of the field spell. This card can get kind of nasty if you happen to go for it multiple times. It's just really nasty. It's just play 12, search out whatever you need in the deck. The stat boost, it helps, but it's not super important for the archetype. Now he's going to go ahead and go for Aguirre, and we have the Angelica out once again, and God Gearfried. Once this card comes out, the Dragon Maid player is going to have a much more rough time disrupting this place, as he doesn't have any more hand traps, and he just said, okay, you know what? I had enough. He didn't want to get comboed anymore. So the mistake right there was letting the other thing survive. Now, what makes the deck lose? Okay, so in general, if you guys have played Noble Knights or played up against it, a lot of times it definitely is a turn 1, like go hard deck. I mean, does the deck have ability to play hand traps and other disruptions like Nibiru, Ash? Of course, yeah. Like, you have room in this. It's not like a deck. Some Yu-Gi-Oh decks, like, you can only go turn 1. Now, this guy, he went for the trap trick, and he goes for the Epidemic Virus, and this will GG out the deck. So it's kind of like, any deck that can't play spells, if you can beat them with this route. Now, there's not too many card effects that, like, get bonuses out of the grave, because you have to make your Noble Knights, and then you can equip them from the grave, but because they're just going to be instantly destroyed, you can't, like, start summoning them down. So that was the main problem. So my suggestion would be, if you can make it a Naturia Beast, or you can, not every deck can go for Eradicator, but technically not every deck can go for Naturia Beast, but if you can make either Nat Beast, or you can go for the Eradicator, the deck will absolutely have to GG out, because it doesn't really have too many options without the equip spells, as you need them for a lot of your starters, especially, well, with the engine. You just search out one. A lot of stuff is very consistent in the deck. So if you're wondering, does this deck have consistency? Is it going to be able to throw, whatever you want out turn 1, which is pretty consistent to go for. God Phoenix Gearfried. You can also go for basically the Baron, and then the Synchro Monster is pretty easy to make, and then you have the Link Monster, where the Charlemagne, the brand new Link Monster, and you can equip the card and then pop something if you are going second. But I would still say primarily the deck's goal is go first, GG out your opponent. And like, so you can see now the other guy's going second over here, player. And if you don't open up with hand traps against this deck just eats you alive. It's just too nasty to deal with all the disruptions. Plus, they can really set up. And then the following turn, this card's getting the effect, and then you can also end phase again equip with Charlemagne, and this card it's too good to let it survive. So the playstyle against this deck must be beat it turn 1, or if you're going second, you have to beat it instantly. You cannot let this deck linger on, because this is going to be a problem. This card gets to become a problem too if this card survives, because I remember he gets to Snatch Steal Monster. I remember when this card was super popular in Heroes for a while, but at this point, it doesn't matter what the opponent has. Like, he's got the Ice Dragon Prison trap trick, but there's just too many negations. Not all the time, though, can you make Baron, just as a heads up, but very consistently, this card. Remember, if you have Metal Silver Armor, as an option, you could potentially equip it to Angelica, because it's kind of what they want you to do, because you want them to target this card, because then you just go, okay, I'm dodging. Or again, if you really want to linger, because they can't affect your banished cards, which there's not too many things that will like affect your banished stuff. It's more so that like when you're banishing, but basically they can't target anything or in either graveyard. So that can actually be pretty dang good because your opponent might need something. If you guys remember Kaiku back in the day when people used to side deck Kaiku, this card throws people off a lot. They're like, what is that card? I haven't seen it before. So I like that. It's like an old school Yu-Gi-Oh card. Here is the deck profile for the build that you guys saw via Sinyan. I like it. I'm going to mouse over the card. So the highlights are basically turn pin. Turn pin lets you go ahead and if you control a monster equipped with an equip card, you just special summon it or from your hand or graveyard, but if it is summoned from the graveyard, you banish it when it leaves the field if you do it. And then if this card is in your graveyard, you target a warrior monster you control and you equip this card to that monster you control. It's really good. And then you can only use each effect once per turn, but while this card is an equip card, the equipped monster is used as a synchro material, you get to treat it as a tuner. So this card, max out on, it's a free special summon, real easy. And then you have the Rikiar Dedo over here. So you banish this card from your hand or graveyard, special summon level 4 fire warrior monster from your hand as a tuner. And then if this card is normal or special, you can target a level 4 or lower fire monster in graveyard and then special summon. So really good stuff. And then this one over here, while this card is equipped, you get to equip a Noble Arms equip spell from your hand or deck to an appropriate monster and you destroy. So basically this is just, it's just a swap to equip. And if it's sent to the graveyard, because the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can target a fire warrior monster that is banished or in the graveyard and add it back to your hand. That effect, it doesn't happen too often because usually just GG them out turn 1. And then the museum, already went over it. That's the pay 12, search out whatever, it's the boost 500. And then you can also special summon kind of like a crystal beast with the effect. And then I already went over the brand new synchro. It just lets you add a card that mentions the Infernal Knight Emperor Charles, and you got to go for Charles to go for the brand new Link monster, which we already went over the fact it copies Charles. And then as a quick effect, you get to pop something when a equipped spell is equipped. But anyways, that's going to be wrapping up the deck profile as well as gameplay. And let me know, guys, what you think of the new Infernoble Knight stuff. Do you guys think it's going to be good? Is it going to be meta? I think it actually has pretty good potential. If they get any more support, it's definitely going to be a lot better, and it already is, I would say, a viable deck if you guys want to just have some fun with it. Is it the S tier best meta deck? Probably not, unless we get more support, but it's still a solid deck and it can easily win against some of the higher tier meta stuff. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new, subscribe to the bell so you don't miss out on more new Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.